All right, so it looks like we've got some funky problems on the homework. So basically what these problems are saying are things like if my vertex, and I think this is an actual problem, so if you get this when you look out, is 1, -4, and the y-intercept is -3, give the graph of that quadratic function. Okay, so basically what we're going to look at is we're going to go back to our original vertex formula, which said that the vertex was let me see if I got this right. Yes, okay, good. The vertex is -b over 2a. Remember, depending on what class you saw, I might have accidentally left that 2 out the first time, but it's definitely there. -b over 2a, and then 4ac minus b squared over 4a. Okay, so one thing that you can observe is that if I have this y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, and I want to find my y-intercept, and that's something that we're given, that's when x is equal to 0. So if I plug in 0, I get y equals a times 0 plus b times 0 plus c, so I get y equals c. So anytime I have this quadratic form and standard form, the y is going to be equal to c. My y-intercept is going to be c. So over here, since it tells us the y-intercept is -3, what it's really telling us is c equals -3. All right, so what we're really trying to do is we're trying to solve for a, b, and c. C is the easy one because they just give it straight to you. C is going to be this -3, but we have to find B and A. So we're going to do that by using this formula right here that has the vertex in it. It's long and fun. Yay! Okay, is that convincing? Maybe not. All right, so let's try this. So we know from this vertex equation and from the vertex that's given, we can make a relationship that 1 is going to be equal to this thing, and that -4 is going to be equal to this thing. And basically we're going to set them equal and solve it. So we have 1 equals -b over 2a. Remember, I can just stick that negative sign on the top or the bottom, wherever I want it to go. And I've also got that -4 is equal to 4ac minus b squared over 4a. And I happen to know from that previous observation that c is equal to -3. So I'm going to copy this and move it over to the next screen, and we'll solve it from there. Come over here, paste. Okay. Okay, so this is what we've got. So let's start with this one. All right, so we've got 1 equals -b over 2a. So I can multiply both sides by 2a. And that gets me essentially 2a equals -b. And then I can multiply both sides by -1 and get b equals -2a. Okay, we'll use that in a second. Now let's go to this uglier one over here. -4 equals 4ac minus b squared over 4a. I'm going to multiply both sides by 4a just to kind of get rid of my fraction, because we don't like fractions. So I've got -16a equals 4ac minus b squared. I'm going to go ahead and plug in what I know from the previous things that we've done. So I've got 16a equals 4a, and then my c is -3, and then my b squared, I'm going to use this over here. So instead of writing b squared, instead of writing b, I'm going to plug in that -2a. So basically what's happened is I've taken that ugly fraction and I've converted it into an equation that only has a's in it. So I'll go ahead and I'll continue simplifying. 16a equals -12a minus 4a squared. And so that gives me, if I add 16 to both sides, 16a to both sides, I've got, let's see, 0 equals 4a minus 4a squared. And I'm going to flip it back over to this side. So I've got 4a squared minus 4a equals 0. I'm going to pull a 4a out and get a minus 1 is equal to 0. So that means that either 4a is equal to 0 or a minus 1 is equal to 0. So this would imply that a is 0, but I don't want that, because if a was 0, remember my quadratic form is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. If that a was 0, then I wouldn't have a quadratic formula anymore, or a quadratic form, standard form anymore. So I'm not going to use that. Instead, I'm going to use this one over here. I'm going to use this to get a is equal to, a is equal to 1. That's the one I'm going to use. I don't want to use the a equals 0. So now I have a is 1, I have c is 3, and I have b is equal to negative 2a. So I've got b is equal to negative 2 times a, which is negative 2. So if I use all of these things together, I have a x squared plus b x plus c, which would be equal to my y, or however you want to say it. So I'm just going to rewrite it as x squared minus 2x squared minus 3. So that would be the equation of the quadratic equation that would have that vertex and the y-intercept that was indicated. So that's how you're going to look at solving those problems.